Hello, welcome back to another episode of Red Cap Mechanic. I know, we're back. So this time on the channel, we're going to try something new. We're going to be working on a new car, not the '84 Ford LTD. That's right, I am purchasing a new car to work on and restore. I don't really know much about how to do it, but we're going to give it our best shot. The car I'm buying is a beautiful 1953 Dodge Meadowbrook. And if that sounds familiar to you, my buddy Al on the videos Aeromech has a 1952 Dodge Coronet that he is working on restoring. And they're very similar cars. I'll give it to him. The Coronet is the higher trim level than the Meadowbrook, so he's got a fancier car than me, but that's okay. That's how it is sometimes. But I am very much looking forward to getting on this and working on it because I think it'll be a lot of fun for us to both kind of be working to restore very similar cars at the same time and hopefully help each other out because neither of us have a whole lot of information about it. So the 1952 Dodge Coronet that he's working on is that green one that's a beautiful green color named Ella. This 53 is a white Meadowbrook, which is going to, I think, be a good candidate to try and paint. I've never painted a car before, but that's going to be a long way down the road. The first thing we have to do is go and acquire it. So tomorrow I'm going to be driving up from Austin to Dallas, Texas to pick up the car and inspect it. And if it's nice, I'm going to purchase it. I imagine that it's going to be a very interesting foil looking at this video as opposed to the Aeromech one because we were picking up the 52 Coronet in the dead of winter up north when it was about 4 or 5 degrees. This is the summer in Texas, so it's about 98 degrees. So I'm curious to see if my earlier comment about preferring to work in the cold is going to hold true. I don't know. It could be really, it's probably going to be really awful, so that's fine. But I'm excited to do it and to try to work on this. I feel a lot more confident having gotten to work with Al a little bit on his. But fortunately for me, mine appears to be a little bit more complete than his did, or is. And since it's a car that I'm going to try and learn some more information about it tomorrow from the seller, but it's a car that I think has lived most of its life in the South, so I don't see a lot of rust on it. And all the wheels are supposed to turn, and it's got, you know, the head on it, which is a bonus, and intake and exhaust and a carburetor. So I'm already quite a few steps ahead of Al, so take that. But I think it's got a lot of charm to it, and it's going to be really fun to work on and to learn on. And if you're interested in that, I hope that you'll come along with me on the video. So I've got a couple of things. I got a winch, the same kind of winch that we used for the 52. And I'm going to try and trailer it tomorrow and bring it back. So that'll be the next part of the video. And then I'm going to see what we can do to get it running. I'm hoping that it will be relatively straightforward. But then again, I'm kind of an idiot. So even if it is straightforward, it's going to be a challenge. So I hope that you are going to enjoy this adventure with me, and we're going to do the best we can to bring this classic car back to life. Well, we're starting the day off going to pick up the U-Haul trailer. I am currently in a ride to go pick it up. There's something funny about this ride. It doesn't have a driver. That's right. They sent a robot to pick me up. I haven't died yet, but the conversation has been lacking on the robot's part. So that's okay. He's also taking a circuitous route, we'll say, to get to where we're trying to go. So I'll let you know if I survive, I suppose. Also, this Jaguar, it's nothing special. It is kind of a weird experience. Like, there's no driver, and I guess it's driving okay. We're still alive. But it did take a really long route. Maybe that's because that's easier for the robot to understand. It feels a little bit like in the movie Jurassic Park, where they're in the car and the car is driving itself. Yeah, so I don't think my 53 is going to have this same capability, but who knows? We'll see. I don't know. Making our way over there, slowly but surely. All right, as you can see behind me, we have obtained truckage and we survived the Waymo trip. I mean, the car drove fine. Could have taken a shorter route, but whatever. Anyway, so now next stop is to go pick up my buddy Michael, and we're going to head up north to the city of Dallas. So just got to drive through Austin traffic at 8 a.m. You know, shouldn't be too hard, right? Okay, I've made it, and I've got my expert mechanic friend Michael here.
I forgot the gloves.
Oh,
not as expert as you thought.
We're going to be heading up to Dallas shortly, which should hopefully go well for us. This is like a Chevy truck, so it's got an auto start stop feature that I can't turn off, and I don't know. We're gonna be making our way upstate and see how that goes. So far, everything's so good. Only an hour and 9 minutes behind, so you know, we're doing pretty good, you know. Alrighty, well, a bit of an update. We did successfully manage to get the vehicle. Sorry I didn't film any of that. It was a bit inconvenient. But we did it in about an hour, which was significantly faster than it was in the cold. So that's wonderful. And made it back home to drop it off. And of course, it's raining pretty heavily. So we're gonna have to wait to get some actual video of the car when I can get back out here again. But that's gonna be on the same video, so it'll be in a few seconds, so don't worry about it. But I think it's a really neat car. It looks really good. It looks like it's in good condition. It does have some scaly rust on the bottom, but it's nothing, no deep rust, because again, I think this car has lived its whole life down south, so that's been really good for it. It's actually more of a battleship gray than white, so looked a little bit different in the pictures, but it is complete. It's got a carburetor and everything on it, intake manifolds, exhaust manifolds, even has an oil filter, which was an optional piece of equipment back in the time, so that's great. But yeah, we'll get into that a lot more here in a little bit. But yeah, we just made it home, and it was hot though. It was, but that encouraged us to work faster. Alrighty, everybody, it's the morning. It's cleared up a little bit. We had quite a bit of rain, but that's okay. And now that it's daylight and the vehicle's on the ground, it was quite the ordeal to get it off of the trailer, as seems to be the case. So if you are trailering a vehicle, make sure you're planning for that, because it can be quite difficult. I would recommend having a friend help you. Friends are very important and very necessary, so they can help you out a lot. Yeah, so get a friend if you need a hand. But let's dig into this and take a look and see what we got. Alrighty, so this is our 1953 Dodge Meadowbrook. As I said, it looked white in the original pictures, but it's actually kind of a battleship, gunship gray. It's going to need some new paint, but maybe we can bring that around. Seems to have almost all of its trim, which is really a plus, because that's probably not easy to find. The chrome does have some rust and some pitting, but I'm hoping that I might be able to clear that up with some Quad Zero steel wool and make it nice and shiny again. It's got both headlights, which is fantastic. I think somebody really cared for this car at one point, and then it just kind of sat, but that happens. But we'll see if we can bring it around and restore it. It's got all 4 tires, which is nice. And they're all holding air, and they all roll, so that is a huge benefit. Will make things a lot easier. One interesting thing I noticed is there are no either driver side or passenger side mirrors. It's only the rear view, so that's kind of interesting. There is one kind of significant dent there, and then a few other little scrapes, but I'm not too concerned about that. See, I got all the tools. I'm gonna try and start working on this and see what we can get rolling. The back also has the chrome on here. I don't know if that's gonna come around. And then like this pitting stuff is, I don't know. We'll give it a shot and see what we can do. But yeah, let's go inside the vehicle and take a look at what the interior looks like. One cool thing is all the locks on these cars have like a little flip thing. I guess that's to keep it clean, but it's kind of neat. It looks like the interior of this vehicle was redone at some point, because this is still very nice. The door handles and the windshield, the window cranks still work. It's got the Venturi windows to open and give you a little bit of breeze when you're driving. It might kind of need some new, this is like a fabric, it might kind of need some new rubber on it, but these do go up and down pretty smoothly actually, which is really nice. As far as the interior goes, again, it looks like it's been redone. Like it looks really nice. The headliner is kind of sagging a bit, but the material is in really good shape, so maybe we can find a way to figure that out. Getting inside the car, these just never stay up. I don't know. There's a screw, maybe it'll tighten it. But inside you have a nice big wheel. And then we've got, looks like just a couple of gauges. We've got a temperature gauge up here, cold and hot. What more do you need to know? Then we have the amps, discharge and charging. I guess you want it at 0. I don't know. I'm not quite familiar with what that's supposed to be. We've got 93,238.8 miles, and I'm gonna say that's all original based on the pedals. They don't look too bad. Get that over there. The Clutch does work, which is nice. The brake, of course, is frozen to the floor, and the gas pedal is stuck. There's some things in here. Oh, we're missing our lighter. Dang it. You got the starter. So this is where you put the key and turn it over. Headlights. That's kind of neat. Panel lights. I don't know if it's supposed to rotate all the way. The wipers. Mysterious button up here. Horn, maybe? One cool thing is, well, cool, quotes. All the wiring is in this kind of cloth material, which that's probably going to be one of the huge things we work on, because I don't trust it. Also, this is the hood release, which still works. This thing, I believe, is the parking brake. It's got a little trigger on it. It's kind of a neat design. But like that definitely looks like bangable when you get in and out of the car. What else we got? We got this. This thing looks really, really cool. This is, I suppose, the climate control. You've got off, on, and then air fan, and then temperature, warm to hot. That's not moving. Fresh air, summer, winter, off. Maybe you gotta, like, I don't know. We're not gonna push anything too hard. Then you've got off, on for the defroster. So you've got this cool little Dodge badge symbol, I suppose. No radio in here. You don't need those. Those are extra, and they take up too much room. You've got a nifty little clock that's easy to read from the driver's side, I suppose. I presume this is an ashtray. Yep, nothing in there, so that's cool. Yep. And then we have the glove box. Yeah, which is fairly empty, except for the knob to the clutch here, or not clutch, the shifter. So this is a 3 on the tree, so it's got 3 gears, and I don't believe it has an, oh, what is this? I don't know what that is. I don't know. But, so I don't believe this has an overdrive, which is fine. But it's very comfortable to kind of just sit in here. Not a lot of extra amenities, just sort of the basics, which is fine. And getting the headliner fixed will give it a little bit more height, which will be nice. But yeah, it's a pretty nifty car. But let's go ahead and get under the hood and see what we're looking at here. Alrighty, so under the hood, I mean, it kind of looks like a shark or something. I wonder if that was kind of the intention, like a mouth of a shark. But that's all right. We got a little bit of rusting, but I haven't actually seen any like significant amounts of rust on this car, which is great. We have a battery in it. It came with a battery. I don't know what it is. I don't know, they usually label them. I'm hoping it's a 6-bolt, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so again, kind of going back to the wiring, this cloth wiring, the sheath on it will just kind of deteriorate, and then you're left with just bare wires. which is a great way to not only not have the wires work, but also maybe even cause a fire. So we want to try and avoid that if possible. But we have the oil air cleaner. So this has oil in it, and the air sucks down, gets cleaned by the oil somehow, and then goes into the carburetor. This one is really nifty because it's got this special feature here, which is an oil filter. Those were optional, and not everything had those back then, but that's really good for helping to extend the life of the engine and the oil. So it's a big blessing to have those. We've got our coil here, engine oil fill. This is gigantic cap. That's fine. The radiator, which seems like it's in pretty good shape. I don't see any rust on the inside. The cap's a little wonky. I don't see any leaks on the radiator though, which is a big thing. The belt could be in better condition, but it's hanging in there. The fan, it does rotate. So that's a weird sound. I don't hear any valve noise when I rotate it, and I was able to rotate it 3 or 4 times, so that to me signifies that we're not stuck on the inside. Okay, so much like you may have seen on the Aero Mech channel, this is a flathead 6-cylinder engine. I think it's a 230. I will work to try and confirm that, but conveniently enough for us, and not for Aero Mech, it's got the intake and the exhaust manifolds already there, and a carburetor, which is a huge step forward. This gigantic thing, I think, is like a heater core, or some sort of a heater, which, you know, in Texas is not really needed all that much. I'd much rather this was an AC, but here we are. All right, so since we know that the engine turns over, which is a great thing, now we can just start assessing where we're at with things. So the oil it's thick, THICC. It's a little low, but I don't see any milkshake in it, meaning there's no water in it, and it actually looks like it might have been moved over to a detergent oil. So old oils, back in the 50s when this car was running, would just suspend wouldn't suspend. They would keep the dirt and the grime, and they just kind of leave it on the engine, and that was called engine sludge. Modern oils are detergent oils, so what they do is they capture all that sludge in it and suspend it in the oil, so when it's spinning around, it doesn't just kind of roam around or get stuck on the engine. The old oils would have sludge build up really heavily at the bottom of the oil pan and in the valve gaskets, so we need to check that and to see if we need to clean those or if they've already been cleaned, which would be nice. Other thing is spark plugs here. These valleys next to them are a great place for gunk to get in, so anytime you're going to be removing spark plugs or anything like that, you want to really clean those out so none of that debris falls into your engine. The throttle linkage is over here. It's stuckinated, which is fine. So here's coming from the pedal. You've got a bar over here that comes to this thing, and it's got a return spring on it to make sure it goes back to a relaxed state. And then you've got the line over to the carburetor, but right now it's kind of stuck. And I'm thinking it's this this pedal linkage and not so much the carburetor right now. I really appreciate on these old cars how they'll label everything like heater. You know, it makes it easy for an idiot like me. Okay, the casting number on the block is right there. Looks like D34-245787. I don't know what that means, but if any of you guys do, let me know, because it might be important. It's really dirty in here, and I do want to clean it out, but we kind of first need to assess how we're doing. We've also got the generator. So as opposed to an alternator, this is a generator, so it functions a little bit differently. I don't know quite the exact difference, but I know that they are different somehow. Okay, here's an example of cords, cables, like just melted or whatever happened to this. So this guy is not going to be doing anything, and he's not even like running to anything. So I don't know where that goes. The battery terminals, both of them are positive. No, that's a lie. They just use 2 red plugs. This is a 6-volt system with a positive ground. So instead of as you in a normal modern car, the positive would run to the starter, the solenoid. The negative actually runs there, and the positive ground goes to the engine block. In a 6-volt system, it's very critical, since they're only running 6 volts, that you make sure to have a good contact, keep it clean, so it can make those connections well. So, and like, yeah, down here on the alternator, you can see the wires, just bare wires. So wiring is going to be a very big issue on this vehicle, but that's okay, because there's also not a ton of wiring on this vehicle, because you only got the headlights, the coil, the tail lights. There's no radio, the dash, so hopefully that won't be too difficult. Why is there just this can't be right. Okay, so let's I don't know, let's see if we can get that air cleaner off and take a look in the carburetor. Alrighty, to get this bad boy off, it's got a little doohickey down here that kind of secures it, and it had a bolt on the side here, and then kind of just popped right off. So this should still be good, but yeah, so this is the carburetor, which you're probably familiar with, and this is what they used before they had the you know, the air filters that are made of fabric or whatnot. Alright, so we've got our carburetor, and it moves freely, which is nice. It's a 1 barrel, you know, that's all you need. Save on that fuel. Is this, I guess, an electric choke? I guess that's what it is, and they put toothpicks in there? I don't know why. Okay. So it seems really in good shape, for the most part. Don't have any idea what the fuel situation is looking like, but that's okay. We'll get there. So let's disconnect the fuel line, just in case it, like when we start cranking it, it tries to pump, because we don't know what's in the tank. So we don't want any bad stuff going in here if we can help it. I don't know. It's a little thing. Yeah, I think this is going to be the fuel line because this looks like the bowl. So we'll get this one off and get back to you. Before we, I think, go on to the fuel, because I think it's going to really be an issue, let's start looking at some of the electrical things just to make sure that they have good connections. A great way to start with that is at your battery, which is the source of all the electricity in your car. You can get one of these for about $4. They're a battery terminal cleaner, and they're very easy to use and simple, and you only need one of them for your whole life. So these terminals are in pretty good shape, but you just take it and you go on it and you twirl it around, and when it comes off, if there's any crap on there, it's cleaned. So we'll do that to both of these guys. So we know that they're clean now. And this is really neat because it's got a part on the inside. Couldn't do that with couldn't do that one-handed, but it's got a part on the inside you can use for the battery terminals, or these things, to help clean them and make sure you're getting a good strong connection, because rust in there is not a good thing. So let me kind of just clean these up real quick and we'll get back to you. On these you can see how shiny it is on the inside now, because we've got all the rust cleaned out of there, so it's going to make a much better connection. These look like, well, these are obviously not original ones, but these look like they're in good shape. But every connection you have in a car, you're going to need metal to metal, and the cleaner you can make that, the better your connections are going to be and the less problems you're going to have. Especially in an old car like this, there's going to be much fewer than in a modern car. Conversely though, all of these are probably in terrible shape. So I'm talking from here to like this starter solenoid is like got a lot of gunk on it, so cleaning that up would be a benefit. This thing, I think this was a fuse block, or maybe this was, I don't know. But like, yeah, all of these are going to have just terrible wiring connections and terrible wires too. So cleaning those up and repairing those is going to be really important to having, because like this is like bare metal, and if it touches, it's going to short, which surely it will. So yeah, cleaning all those is very important. You'll also notice here there is, oh, the body number 596016, I think. There's no brake master cylinder here. That's because on these it's under the floor. So you got some extra real estate if you need something here. In fact, you have a whole lot of real estate in here to work with, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, let's get back to cleaning these terminals, and we'll get back to you. So I got the battery terminals cleaned up. I don't have a multimeter with me, which is a great tool for testing a lot of electrical issues, but I do have the level 1 version of that, which is basically just, there's a light in here that should light up if there's a 6-volt or more connection, which there should be in this battery. So I've connected it to the positive side of the battery, and if I tap it to the negative side, if there's a charge in this battery, it should light up, which it is. So that means that the battery does carry a charge to it. So now that we've got, this is a very useful thing to use if you're going to be working on an old car, or a car with a lot of rust, by the way. It helps lubricate and open things up. So we're done with that guy for now. Yeah. So now that we have the terminals all cleaned up, we should be able to tap and see if there's a spark, then something's drawing energy. Yeah. if the battery cable is quite long enough. Oh. Okay. So now we wait and do a smell test to see if there's any shorts happening, because there's a lot of bad wire in here and a lot of bad connections. I don't see any wires shorting. And let's test to make sure that we're getting some continuity there. So we'll just clip the end, one end onto this guy over here. Yep. And then if we touch this, we know that the terminal is sending power. Okay, so we do have a good connection. Cleaning up those connections only takes a second and can be very, very useful. So let's crank on it and see what we got going on. I am flabbergasted there's not some sort of a fire starting though, because everything is just, all the wires need to be replaced. Alrighty, I'm going to crank on it with these keys. Probably not the original keys, but they do work. I'm going to crank on it and we'll see if the engine turns over. I feel confident in doing this because I've rotated it by hand, so I know there's nothing bound up inside. We are definitely not expecting the engine to start and run, but I just want to see if the starter's good. It's a 6-volt starter, so it's not going to sound like a modern car. It's going to be like a rum, rum, rum. But we'll see what happens. By George, that's pretty awesome. Okay, I wasn't expecting that to work, so I'm kind of at a loss for now, but we know we've got electricity. We'll disco this right now. Normally you just take the negative off, but on a positive ground, I don't know, we'll take both of them off. So we know we've got electricity. We know the starter's working. It sounds like this might be a 12-volt battery, by the way. I would need a multimeter to check that since there's no markings on it, so I don't want to leave it running too long. But the starter's working, awesome, and turned over quickly. Because it turned over so quickly, that leads me to believe this might be a 12-volt battery. You can run a 6-volt starter with a 12-volt battery and not have to worry about it because you don't use the starter that much. But most of the other electrical systems will burn out if you do that. And it also lets me know I was correct, that it is a positive ground, because that wouldn't have happened otherwise. So let's check and see if we have spark, I guess. That would be the next thing, right? And that's going to be with our friend, Mr. Coil. All right, so the coil is this guy here. What it does is it takes the 6 volts that this should be this battery sending, or the 12 volts that a modern battery would send, and converts it up to a very, very high number, like 50,000 or something. And then it sends that zap of powerful energy through the distributor, which is down in there. It's a little 4, or no, it should have 6 prong distributor to each of the spark plugs, and that's what makes the spark plugs have enough juice to bridge that gap that they have, which then ignites the combustion mixture in the chamber. So we need to he's a little loose. He's very loose. Okay, that's fine. So I also thought he was supposed to be facing upward, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so if we follow him down to the distributor, or distributor, he should have a little boot thing on. Now, this is not easy to reach. He should have a little boot thing on, and we can pop that off of the distributor, and that'll be a little, it'll look like a little piece of metal, and we can hold that against the bare metal of like the engine block and see if there's a spark. And if there's a spark there, then we know that the coil is giving at least some energy. We don't know if it's the right amount, but we know that it's at least some. So let me get that popped off and we'll take a look at that. Alrighty, so here's the top of the or the end of the plug on the coil. I don't know what it should look like, but I guess that's okay. This coil like has electrical tape on it. That's not factory. If you're working on an old car like this, it's a 6-volt system. You need a 6-volt coil. Or if you're working on a newer car like 60s plus, you need a 12-volt coil. Or if you're working on a very modern car, you don't need a coil at all. So yeah, okay, well, this is not going to work, but we'll give it a shot. So I'm going to put this against some metal and we'll see if it can throw a spark. If it does, then the spark plug, then the coil is at least somewhat working. So let me get that set up and we'll get back to you. I've got the coils wire set up against this. This is metal. When I turn the engine over, you should see a spark there. So let's give that a shot. All right, well, as you maybe could see, maybe not, it's hard to capture sparks on film because of the rate that the rate that the digital captures. But there was a spark. It looked pretty solid, so that means to me that the coil is working. So we know that the engine's getting power. We know that the coil's working and sending that to the distributor cap. So we can put the coil back onto the distributor cap and then pop one of the spark plug wires out and then set that against bare metal. And if that's also giving a spark, then we know that the electrical system is sending a spark all the way to the spark plugs, which would then mean that our ignition system, the electrical part of it, is working, which would be fantastic and really unbelievable. But so let me get a spark plug wire pulled and we'll do that exact same test with the wire, and then we can, with some degree of confidence, say that if there was gasoline and air in that cylinder, it would explode, combust, we'll say. So yeah, let me get that set up. Okay, I've got the coil plugged back into the distributor. I have this spark plug wire off, so I'm going to set it next to this bolt on the block. So what we're looking for is a little bolt of lightning that will jump between the spark plug wire and the block, and let's see what happens. Again, I don't know if you could see that, but we did have a little spark that did the jumping and went from, let me take that off just in case. It went from the end of the spark plug wire to this bolt. So that means our distributor is working as it should. So if these spark plugs are working, then we should have spark or we should have ignition if we pour some gas down there. So let's do that, see what happens. Maybe this engine will kick to life for the first time in, I don't know, 30 years. All right, so I normally would pour a mixture of gas and oil down there. I thought I had some, but I don't, so I'm going to use some brake parts cleaner, which is flammable. It's not as good because you won't lubricate the top end, but them's the brakes sometimes. So we'll spray a little bit down here. Now it's got fire, the battery's hooked up. I'll turn the key and we know it's got spark, so this should work. Well, it did fire, which is great, but I'm also an idiot, which is also great, because it didn't run for very long, because this is a manual, and it's been a long time since I've driven a manual, so I left it in gear, so it's of course not going to keep running if it's popped into third gear. So let's drop it out of gear and put a little bit more brake cleaner down there and see if it runs. But like, that is a great sign. Like, it seems like it's working. So let me get that set up and we'll get back to you, and maybe not kill ourselves in the process if possible. Okay, we are in neutral now, so give it a little blast and crank it over and see what happens. The fuel. I need to unhook the fuel. I don't know what's in the tank. Ah! Okay, as I said earlier, we wanted to make sure we aren't pumping any bad fuel in there. So let me get the right wrench. All right, try 9/16. A little too big. A 1/2. Right size. Okay. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, right? All right, that's on there pretty good. So we'll get this PB blaster because we don't want to strip anything or do anything bad other than the stuff we're already doing. We'll let that sit a minute, and then we can put this 1/2 on there and hopefully kind of just ease that off without snapping anything. Sometimes rocking it back and forth can help work that in there. Yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll let that sit for a minute and then we'll come back. Alrighty, that's had a couple of minutes to sit, so we'll see if it wants to be a little more cooperative now. Oh. So that's kinking that line, which is not what we want to do. I've seen people do that and kind of like a, I don't know, maybe like a this kind of number. Ooh, hang in there. So I'll hold the bolt, this back bolt, and then try and just turn this front one. Will that work? Let me move this air cleaner. There we go. Now we're at a better angle. Okay, so come on, Lee. Yeah. Well, the oil air cleaner fell, and I can confirm it does have oil in it. Did. Okay. But it landed upright. So what if we kind of spritzed it? Now that's brake cleaner, which will not help lubrication, but maybe it'll get some of the gunk out of there, and we can come in after with this PB blaster and really just get it lubricated, because we do not want to break that line. Oh boy, men were men back then when they tightened these things, weren't they? Okay, so another option is just to kind of leave that on, because there's probably nothing in the gas tank, right? So yeah, let's do that, and we'll figure out this problem another time. Okay, got the battery hooked back up. I've got a as Derek likes to call it, a Lone Wolf 6000. I think I have this hooked up right, because it is everything's backwards here, so I've got to remember that red goes to black instead of normal. So let me get the key turned on, and then we'll try and bottle feed it enough to stay alive for a while. See if that works. Making progress. All right, so the brake part cleaner is not being successful, so let's try putting in some gasoline and see what happens. All right, not too much, just want a little trickle. These new gas tanks are hard to do. Oh, yeah, that's great, Gary. Okay, so it seems to fire and run for just a second before sputtering out. That could still be electrical issues, that could very well be electrical issues. I would think that the points which are in the distributor, which are the little contacts, would be fine since it was sending spark through the spark plug. The spark plugs may not be working. The exhaust could be plugged. And what else could be going wrong? There could be a couple other things on the list, I'm sure. I can't think of right now. But let's keep trying that a few more times to see if maybe we can just bring it around, because it seems like it almost wants to kind of go but just can't get there. So I think the best course of action would be to just keep trying a few more times. It doesn't seem like we're hurting anything by doing that, so you know, the worst thing we do is we waste a charge on a battery and a little bit of gasoline. Okay, let's give it another shot. Want to make sure the key is on. Got a little light. Don't do that. That wasn't right. When I did that, I heard a pop. So I don't think I have this connected right. I have it connected from the positive terminal to the solenoid. So I don't think I know how to use this, so I'm not going to do that because I don't want to cause any issue. So we'll just go back to regular key work. Okay, I put some more gasoline in there and let's see what happens. All right, as you can hear, it ran for 0.5 seconds, so we're making progress. Let's keep that up. Maybe I just need more gasoline? I don't know. Okay, that's plenty to start a fire. Okay, so we saw it run for about a second this time, so we're making progress. More importantly, we didn't hear any clanking or clacking or valve train noises, so it doesn't seem like anything is binding them in the top or the bottom of the engine, which is fantastic. So that tells me that we can proceed with trying to evaluate this and trying to get it going longer term. I think I will need to try and figure out how to get the nut off of, or the fuel line off there next though, because, or maybe open the top of that. No, that's too many bolts and things. That's scary. I'm not doing that. But try and get the fuel line off and see if we're getting anything pumped up there. Okay, I was able to get this off by spraying some more PB Blaster on it, keeping tension or pressure on this wrench on the inner bolt to push, to hold it steady, and then putting just a bunch of pressure on this outer bolt or nut to get it to loosen. And it finally broke free. Was not easy. Not for the faint of heart. But at least the Texas summer sun is keeping me warm. Be glad you're in AC if you're watching. Oh, it came off. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so we got this nut off from this bolt, and this should be where the fuel is coming in. I did bend that just a little, but I think that's going to be okay. So when the engine's turning over, if the fuel pump is working, which I might spray some, I don't know, brake cleaner down there to make sure the diaphragm is diaphragming. This should squirt out fuel if there's any fuel in the tank, which I don't know if there is. You know what? Let me go get some fuel and I'll put it in the tank. That couldn't be a bad idea, could it? Okay, I got the gas. It's gonna be the most expensive part of the whole endeavor, I think. So let's put some fresh fuel in it to see if we can get it to pump anything. Down the hatch, I suppose. We'll also be checking for leaks. Alrighty, so I got about 4 gallons of gas in there, so hopefully that'll be enough for it to start picking up some stuff if it's going to work. Also, I noticed this on the back end with the tailpipe. It blew out some rust, which rust isn't good, but the fact that the exhaust system is working is a good sign. It means it is pushing stuff out, so maybe if we keep going it'll free that up and it'll have enough to kind of actually run for a bit longer. So let's turn the key and see if we can start get that fuel pump pumpinating, shall we? Well, we're certainly moving in the right direction. We got it to fire at least 2 or 3 times on that last go, which is fantastic. Excuse me. I'm going to keep trying it to keep it getting, because it seems like it's going longer and longer each time. So I'm going to try that a few more times, putting gasoline in there and trying to get it to fire off, and checking to see if the fuel pump is working. I don't see it spritzing anything just yet. But yeah, let me try that a few times and we'll get back to you. Okay, little update. So, been spinning over and I see some smoke coming out from this area. I'm assuming it's the alternator. Actually, yeah, it almost certainly is the alternator, because these 2 wires are touching and I don't think they should be. I have disconnected the battery, but that's not good. Okay, well, lesson learned. Let's go ahead and try to start this up. I'm going to use an excessive amount of fuel for this because I think it needs it, but let's see if we can get it running for a few seconds. I told you I was using an excessive amount. Now, okay, those wires are separated. All right, let's give it a shot. Poopy. Maybe a super excessive amount, and that carburetor is definitely leaking. All right, I do want to try to get it running a little longer than half a second, but I really don't want to burn the rig down. That's number one. Don't want that getting caught up there, whatever that horrible, horrible looking wire is. Okay, so I think we're gonna go with the same plan. Putting a lot of gas in here because, again, first time startup. I was able to get the choke loosened up, and you can probably see it leaking around the base here. So let's see what happens. Did I flood it? Possibly. Do I know what I'm doing? Nope. We're wide open for a second. We're not getting any pumping. Okay. Disconnect the battery. All right. We didn't get, let's check. All right, it doesn't look like we got any fuel pumping out of here. I think the carburetor is leaking, because I don't think I spilled all that. Maybe I did, but I think I've seen it leak. I think this is the electric choke, so that's probably not working. That's the maybe worst wiring I've ever seen in my entire life. I haven't seen that much, but I ask you if you've ever seen anything worse than that, whatever that is. I don't know if you have. Exhaust manifold's gotten hot. Oh, this is a good sign, maybe. This thing controls whether the exhaust fumes are going up into the basically the base plate of the carburetor to warm it up. It was like that when we started, and as it warms up it goes like that. So that seems to be working, which is awesome. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment with that. The spark plugs are clearly working, at least some of them. I don't have anything to kind of clean those holes out, and I really don't want to get any of that gunk into the engine. Oh, let's check the oil, see what that's looking like. Alrighty, so over here on the oil side, what do we got? What do we got? Yeah, I don't see any bubbles in there or water, which to me denotes that there's just oil in there. You need to not fall down like that, Mr. Coil. Okay, so lots of issues still, but that's okay. I'm going to keep trying to get it to run a little bit longer. I'm thinking I'm going to need to get a carburetor rebuild kit for that, which terrifies me. But you know, all of this kind of terrifies me, so I guess we're even on that. I don't know if it's got oil pressure. It looked like it got pretty high on the dipstick, which to me indicates there's things churning down there, but I can't see the oil pressure thing at the same time as doing all this, and I'm working alone, so I got what I got. I don't see any more smoke coming from these coils or these wires, so I separated them, but these will need to be replaced. I'm gonna have to go buy some wiring kit and figure out how to do wire. That's gonna be, ironically, the electrical system is gonna be, I think, the big issue on this car, and that is so funny, so funny. Okay, yeah, let me try a few more times with the gas. Okay, so I decided to take the top of the carburetor off and fill the bowl because me bottle feeding it is just not very good. So I filled the bowl with gasoline. So let's see if that can make it run how it's supposed to run, if it's doing it by itself, which removes me from the equation. So I think the car is going to be more successful on its own, but I guess we'll find out. Alrighty, so I'm not going to put any gasoline in there. The carburetor should be able to self-manage itself, but we'll see. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just turn the key and see if it fires. Well, son of a gun. Oh. And I'm not sure if you saw, but here. I squirted some brake cleaner down this tube here, and it started pumping gasoline up. So the fuel system's working, carburetor's working. Why was this car parked? If it's something I could fix, then surely anybody with some actual brain power could have done this. So I'm not quite sure. I'm going to reconnect this because it looks like it's working at this time. So no more bottle feeding, I guess. I did let that brake cleaner sit down there. So you spray it down here, and it goes down to where the diaphragm is on the fuel pump. And because if they sit for a long time, they get they need to move. They need to be able to move. And if they sit for a long time, I don't know if that's tight enough. I guess we'll find out. But if they sit for a long time, then they can't oscillate back and forth, which is what they need to do to make the suction to push fuel. So let's turn it back on, see if we have any leaks there, I guess. I don't know. fixed. Alright, temperature, there's probably no coolant in there. Amps, that's a little concerning. Oil pressure is good, we're at over 40. Fuel thing's not working. Oh, the amp thing just stopped. Let me go check on that real quick. Any of these wires hot? I'm not gonna touch those. Let's take this off, see what happens. I smell something burning. I don't see anything on fire yet. I'm gonna guess that generator is no bueno, and there's probably about 1 million electrical connections that are not great. But this car is running on its own after me working on it. Let's put some coolant in here, rather water, and I don't know, run it for a little bit longer. I'm going to eventually want to club up to coolant, but for right now we'll just pour some water in there and see what happens. I unfortunately don't have a working hose at the moment, so this thing is getting primo water for people. But you know what? She deserves it. Speaking of that, I've been thinking about some names for her. I don't know if I'm settled on one yet. I was thinking of Cassandra, which I think is a really nice name. Not a very common name, so you wouldn't really confuse it with a person. And Hazel, which I think is also a really nice name. But I don't intend on painting the car brown or anything, so I don't know. I will keep thinking on that now that I know that it runs with me working on it, so it's got to be desperate to live, right? I don't know how many this is going to take, but it's a really good feeling to get it working again. I haven't really done much to it. Just checked all the electrical systems, as you saw, and put gas in it, and the brakes are still not working though. So brakes and electrical are going to be the two big things on this vehicle, I guess. I put 8 of these bottles in there, and they're 1 pint, 8 pints. How much is that, a gallon? So see how she runs with that. Let's fire her up. That's my area of concern, the generator right now. But I don't know, man. Temp is kind of high. Amps have stopped charging. Oil pressure's good. Fuel's still not registering. That accelerator pump may not be great. Not seeing anything on fire yet. sign. Exhaust is exhausting. Not seeing anything smoking. I smell something getting hot. All right, we definitely have got some smoke coming out of the generator, so that's bad. Okay, it seems to continue. Oh yeah. I don't know if this is a good thing to do or not, but this is lukewarm water. I hear sizzling. At the top of that radiator is hot, so that's been working. Okay. I'm gonna not start this car again till I can get that generator issue. It sparked. Interesting. Till I can get that generator issue resolved, because I think it's trying, but I think it's dying. Maybe we can clean it up. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Been about 4 hours. Got a lot done. Got the car running, which is pretty cool. It's running under its own gas tank now. The main issues I'm seeing are going to be the generator, along with the electrical system. Maybe the generators, well, the wires need to be redone, so I need to look into that. The radiator, the temperature was rising, so I don't know if that thermostat's maybe stuck or not working or whatnot. L-head engines are known for running a bit hotter. I was going to use my Temp gun that I bought, but it doesn't come with a battery, so it's not very helpful. Let's see, the brakes are pedals all the way to the floor, so they're no bueno. But the fuel pump's working, the coil's working, distributor's working, spark plugs are working. We made some good progress today. I'm very pleased with that, and this car is going to be a running Jesse before long. So thank you all for joining me today, and let me know what kind of projects you're working on, or what you got going on with your lives, and how those kind of things are going on. And also let me know, do you like the name Hazel or Cassandra better? Or if you have another name choice, let me know. And we will see you next time.